Use your nose, ready? We've been talking a lot about how to divide circles and rectangles into halves and fourths. And today, our I can see how shapes are put together as parts and wholes. And we're going to be looking at a couple word problems that involve fractions. So I want to show you how I worked through one on my own. Jen baked a chocolate chip cookie for her best friend, Lila. Wow. I'm thinking, there's two people there, Jen and Lila. I'm going to underline their names because that might help me divide my circle up later. When Jen gave the cookie to Lila, Lila wanted to split the cookie with Jen so that each of them could have an equal share. I remember this word, equal share, and that tells me that they're each going to get the same amount of the chocolate chip cookie. So, and I also see this word split here. So I'm going to read it one more time to make sure I got my information. Jen baked a chocolate chip cookie for her best friend, Lila. When Jen gave the cookie to Lila, Lila wanted to split the cookie with Jen so that each of them could have an equal share. Now here's my question. What fraction of the cookie did Jen get? And I'm going to underline that question because that's what I need to answer. What fraction of the cookie did Jen get? Now looking back at my text, I can see that I reminded myself there's two people in the problem. So they must be dividing the cookie into two equal shares. So I'm going to draw a line down in the middle of my cookie to show two equal shares. Now that doesn't tell me a lot about my problem, so I want to make sure I label it. On this side, this is going to be Jen's share of the cookie. Jen's half.
What is that?
Jen's. Showing that it's hers. And on this side, this is Lila's. Lila's half of the cookie. Now what I'm noticing is that this cookie is divided into two halves. I have half here and half here. And if I look, wow, two halves make up my whole cookie. This is one whole cookie. So, I know that if I put these two halves together, that it equals a whole. Because they're the same on each side. I'm showing two equal shares. All right? So they're equal shares. 1/2 and 1/2. They're the same number. They're equal. Okay? So 1/2 equals 1/2. They're the same. So, looking back at my picture, I can see that Jen got 1/2 of the cookie. So where it says solve it, I can use my picture to help me solve it. My question was, what fraction of the cookie did Jen get? So I'm going to write that. Jen got 1/2 of the cookie. Okay, so I'm looking back at my picture, and I'm looking at my answer, how I solved it, and I'm thinking, how can I explain this in words? So now let's see. Let me tell the steps I did. I divided the circle into two equal shares. And I wrote it out right here. To show that two halves, here's my two halves, 1/2, 2/2, equals one whole cookie. So each friend gets 1/2 of the cookie. So all I did here when I proved it was I explained. I told step by step. First I divided it into two halves. And I showed that the two halves equals the one whole. And then I said that each friend got 1/2 of the cookie. Now we're going to look at a different problem. This one says, Jim, Molly, Susie, and Tom went to Stevie V's for dinner. Yum. And I can see That's really important. There are 1, 2, 3, 4 people going to Stevie B's for dinner. They ordered a small pizza to split equally between them. Oh, I'm thinking, that's really important. They want to split it equally. They must be dividing it into equal shares again. Split equally. What fraction of the pizza did each friend get? Now, I'm going to read this problem one more time. But this time as I read it, you guys are going to close your eyes and you're going to imagine what this pizza looks like when it's divided up between the 4 friends. So I'm going to read it one more time. As I read, everyone close your eyes. Get a picture. What does the pizza look like when it's divided up between these 4 friends? Close your eyes and listen. Jim, Molly, Susie, and Tom went to Stevie B's for dinner. They ordered a small pizza to split equally between them. What fraction of the pizza did each friend get? All right, eyes open. Christian, can you tell me how I would divide this pizza up?
4. And
4.
each person gets 1. And
Each person gets 1 out of how many pieces?
Quarter.
1 out of the...
Quarters.
Yeah. So each person gets 1/4 or 1/4 of the pizza. So Christian saw his pizza like this. Can you show me you agree if you also saw the pizza like that? Show me you agree. Good job. All right, so here's Jim. He was the one friend. Molly. Susie. And Tom. There's my 4 friends. 1, 2, 3, 4. And like Christian said, each person gets 1 out of the 4 pieces or
The quarter.
1/4 of the pizza. And guess what? Put my 4s all together. They make up my whole pizza. This is 1 whole pizza. And I can also see that my shares are equal because 1/4 is the same as 1/4. Same. So they must be equal shares. Now, so if I solved this problem, I would say that because what fraction of the pizza did each person get? And you answered it, you said each person gets, and I like how you said 1/4, so I want to include that up here too. Each person gets 1/4. I could even say, or 1/4, same thing, of the pizza. All right, now that we worked out this problem, we showed our pizza, we divided it into quarters, and we found out that each person gets 1/4 or 1/4 of the pizza. Now we have to explain it though. Over here we explained our problem. We need to prove it here too. So in just a minute, you're going to turn and talk to your elbow partner, and you're going to explain what we did in this problem. How can we prove it? Go ahead, turn and talk.
I divided into 4 equal shares to show that 4 halves each
Alright, 3, 2, 1. I heard some awesome math talk there. I heard you using certain words like quarters and 1/4. Now, I'm going to call on a friend to explain and to prove it what we did. Rose, can you? You're good? All right.
I divided the circle into 4 equal shares to show that 4 quarters equal 1 whole.
1 whole.
1 whole pizza.
gets?
Each one gets one quarter.
One fourth.
Of the pizza.
All right, if you guys also told your partner with that and you agree, show me. Okay. So when you come across word problems like this with fractions, this is a way that you can solve them. Today, you guys are going to be working in small groups to solve a problem just like this one. And I can also show you that Lewis was right. He divided it into 4 equal shares to show that 4 quarters, 4 4/4 equals 1 whole, so each friend got 1/4 of the pizza. All right, now, like I said, you're going to be working in your small groups to solve a problem just like this one. So in just a minute, I'm going to send you to your tables. You're going to find where your names are with your groups and start working on your problem together. Raise your hand if you finish your problem with your group early and you've talked to each other and you've helped each other and you finished early. What should you do? What should you do, Kelly?
You go to the folder over there full of problems, and then when you're done with their groups, you can get one.
So when you're done with your groups, you have an extra work on that you can work on in the blue folder on your table when you're done with your group. All right, go ahead and walk to your table. Find your, good job going quietly.
Can I get purple? Yeah, I'm not getting purple. I'm getting orange.
And remember each of your jobs with each color marker. I need Cecilia, Natalie, and Jose.
Leo's gonna go there. I need to go for the chair. The color. Sometimes I'm the black. Here, I don't like the important thing. The circle don't Let's see what here comes. What does it mean? You have to underline the word. Problem. T-A-T. How much work? They want to replace it equal between them. What fraction of the cookies that each friend gets? You have to underline. We have to underline so we can remember how we have to underline the name so we know how many people are in we are supposed to draw. But we need to help you.
How many names are there?
4. I'm supposed to label it in you have to underline that they're trying to underline here and here. Okay, then I solve it. No, here. These birds don't need to write. And the question, right? Oh, wait. No, I'm writing this question. Wait, you're supposed to draw. This whole question, right? The whole question. The whole question. Great. I made a mistake. Great. And underline. Wait, I have to tell this one. You could still do that.
Oh, yeah, that's a good idea.
And then stop there. I do the letters.
What editing is that?
Wait, let her explain.
Yeah.
She put a letter for each. Okay. So this shows how much. What is this? One whole cake.
The second one. Okay. Again, because he has I think I'm done. Do it too. No, you have to show it. You have to show it. No, it's your turn. You have to draw it. Easy, you might, I like to. You do it and you didn't then. No, and this way. I want to prove it. I'm the one who proves it. I'm the one who proves it. No, I am. What it on accident. No. Oh, yeah.
There's 4 pieces.
It's a 4 piece.
What was it asking us? Isaiah, you want to read the question right here?
This is a cake and cookie. What?
Fraction. What's our answer to that question? Well, they each couldn't get 4 pieces because then they would get the whole. Each of them got 1 out of 4. Good. So who can write that here? Sue, will you write that?
G-E-T. You don't want to get cookie and cake. Look, cookie and cake. It's in the passage. Cookie, cake. Okay, cookie, cake. Okay. Leo.
Because if each one got 4, they would get the whole.
Hurry up. We're being around. I'm going to just But don't copy the and the words. Copy the article. Now look at we got like a lot of pencils. Okay, circle is okay.